Today we are going to be looking at the Lewis structure of CH4, otherwise known as methane. To start off, let's look at step number 1, which says that we need to count up the number of valence electrons. We know that CH4 is made up of 1 carbon and 4 hydrogen atoms. When we look at the periodic table, carbon's placement gives it 4 valence electrons, while hydrogen's placement gives it 1. So we're going to write that over here. Remember to multiply the 1 by 4 because there are 4 hydrogens, and when we add them together, we get a total of 8 valence electrons, and I'm going to write that over here. Now moving on to step number 2, we need to put the first atom in the formula in the center. We see that the first atom is the carbon, so the carbon is going to be the center of our Lewis structure. Now looking at step number 3 says that we need to connect the other atoms to the central atom with single bonds. The other atoms are the 4 hydrogens in this case. So the hydrogens are going to go around the carbon, and we're going to connect them to the carbon with single bonds. Now looking at step number 4, it says that we need to complete the octets. Carbon has 1, 2, 3, 4 single bonds, and 4 single bonds is an octet because there are 8 electrons. Now hydrogens only need a duet, or 2 electrons, and since each single bond equals 2 electrons, it satisfies the hydrogen's duet requirement as well. Now looking at step number 5, it says that we need to make sure that the central atom has an octet. 4 single bonds equals an octet, so yeah, the central carbon atom does have an octet. Now before we can be finished with our structure, we need to check that we have the correct number of electrons. We know that there are 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. So that 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 8 electrons. And remember we said 8 electrons here, and we got 8 electrons here. So yes, we have the correct number of electrons. Now looking at the octets and duets, we know that hydrogen has its duets because it has 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. Basically, 1 single bond per hydrogen, so it satisfies the duets. And we know that the carbon atom has 1, 2, 3, 4 of single bonds, and that satisfies the octets. So we can do a big check mark next to that as well. Now I understand that our Lewis structure is a little crowded, so I'm going to redraw it. This is what your final Lewis structure for CH4, or methane, should look like. We know this because we followed all of the steps and we made sure to do the checks.